Micron. So as promised in my last video, this is the bull case, me laying it out for Micron. The ticker is MU, and why it's a sleeper stock in the HBM boom. Super excited. Let's just dive right in because there's a lot to talk about. Again, no edits, just raw, like one shot. Information is too good, right? Don't want to spend time editing. All right, so the high bandwidth memory wars. The reason Micron got my attention, like where I found out about this HBM war thing, is I was listening to a podcast and Gavin Baker, who is like a VC genius, like AI guy, super big in tech, said HBM is sold out for the next 2 years. And I was like, hold on, first of all, what's HBM? Who's making whatever HBM is, and why is it sold out? Is it really sold out for 2 years? What does that mean? So after my deep dive, I realized, yes, high bandwidth memory chips are sold out for the next 2 years. And before I tell you, before I go further, I have to explain what HBM is, right? So I covered this briefly in my last video, so just like bear with me. But if you think of Nvidia's GPUs, right, which are driving like the AI boom. Everybody needs these GPUs to train their AI models, do inference, basically run everything AI, right? There's a lot of power demand, but there's also that power feeding these GPUs that are living in data centers, right? So HBM is helping that GPU be more efficient, and here's how. So if you think of that GPU, that like big semiconductor chip, it's basically like a kitchen, just for the analogy, right? Bear with me. So I found out that a lot of the times the GPU is not running anywhere near its full capacity, maybe like 20, 30%. And because there are bottlenecks, right? So if there is, let's say its data is taking a long time to get from anywhere in your body, let's say from your knee to your brain, whatever bottlenecks are keeping the data from going in and out of your brain. So a lot of the time your brain is just doing nothing. It's not working at 100%. And Nvidia and all these semiconductor companies want to make sure the brain or the GPU is working as fast as possible, or as much as possible, right? It's not sitting idle. So in the kitchen scenario, right, the kitchen metaphor, like let's say the GPU, the main brain is the chef. Well, a lot of the times if the chef's just standing around, that's not good because that means the food is, taking too long to make. But why is that? So let's pretend like these ovens are the HBM chips. So if the oven is, for one, like 40 feet away from the chef, then the chef has to walk a long way just to get the food out or put it in. So what HBM is doing is, one, they are bringing the ovens right next to the chef and making sure he's right there and the food can go in and out super quick. Number two is they're making the ovens bigger so more food can go in and be cooked at the same time. And they're also saying, hey, let's stack like 5 ovens on top of each other. That way the chef is not only close to them, but he can put like 10 times as much food into the ovens, and the kitchen's gonna be way more efficient. Food's gonna just go in and out super quick. That's basically down here what you see like the Micron's memory chip being stacked. Let's say there's like 10 or 12 of them stacked, and it's right next to the GPU as physically as close as possible. So that way data does not get stuck or caught in traffic. It's just like flowing quick. That's kind of the best metaphor that I can think of. Also, if that didn't make sense, think of HBM as like a really big highway. So if there's traffic jams all the time, then you make that highway 10 times bigger, and there should be much less traffic jams. People or data can go back and forth much quicker. All right, so that's kind of like an overview of what HBM is. It's just helping the GPU get rid of bottlenecks and make data go in and out really fast. Why is it sold out, right? What's going on? Again, the AI boom, which I mentioned in my last video, is just insane. And now there's a lot of hardware bottlenecks. So Nvidia and other competitors are saying, okay, how can we make our GPUs as efficient as possible, even on the hardware level? High bandwidth memory is opening up that highway so that more data can travel in between and that the GPU doesn't have to like sit idle, right? That's kind of how I understand it. So I think GPUs are running at, let's say at 20 or 30% efficiency. So imagine if your computer, you have a super powerful computer, but you're not using it to its full potential. You're using only 20 or 30%. Why not push that up to 60? You can get a lot more. You can like actually take full advantage of it. So that's kind of what's going on in the hardware world of the AI boom. And that's why high bandwidth memory chips are literally sold out for the next 2 years. First of all, Micron is not the only HBM provider, right? In fact, they're not even the market leader. Right now, SK Hynix, a South Korean company, is the market share leader in HBM, which is about, I think they have like 45% or 46% market share. And then Micron and Samsung split the remaining market share. So let's say 22% each, something like that. But right place, right time, Samsung is recently dropping the ball apparently on HBM, and I don't think they got approved to be in Nvidia's new Blackwell GPU. So Micron is, right? We saw that when Jensen announced the Blackwell and all those cool details at the CES keynote like 2 weeks ago. He actually name dropped Micron, saying they're in Blackwell, but they're also not in their new GPU, but they're in, so Nvidia has this like personal supercomputer that they're planning to launch for like $3,000 called Project Digits, and Micron high bandwidth memory is also in that as well. So that's why I kind of look at Micron as like a beta play to Nvidia, because first of all, Nvidia is like the market giant leader by far in semiconductors, right? And GPUs, I think they have like 90% market share, and the orders are just crazy. Like the growth is crazy, the margins are crazy. So Nvidia, if they're successful, well, Micron is baked into these Nvidia products, right? So Micron as well should be riding the same wave up. So you're kind of making that bet, right? I feel like there's probably more upside in Micron being like not even probably 0.001% of Nvidia's size. I don't know if maybe not 0.00, but you get the picture. Like you have like a $3-4 trillion company and $100 billion company, right? So there's a huge difference. All right, so that's why I think in a nutshell, it's a sleeper stock in the HBM boom. But I dug into their earnings, Micron's earnings, to kind of get a glimpse and understand more of like why is this HBM boom happening and how is it affecting the actual business. So first of all, Micron, their core business is not HBM chips at all, right? Their core business is still in the same like area of memory chips and storage, but it's mostly consumer facing. So think of like if you're watching this on a smartphone, or if you're watching this on a laptop, or if you're watching this on a smart TV, they all have memory chips, right? So that's kind of Micron's focus and core business. But HBM is like this little flower that's blooming and standing tall above everything else almost out of nowhere, right? It's unexpected. So I dug in so you don't have to, and I have like 3 or 2 interesting slides that I pulled from there, and let's get right into them. So the first one that I've underlined is Micron saying that their product delivers 50% higher memory capacity and is industry leading. So the product's good. We know the product's good. I mean, if Nvidia is using it, the product is good. So I think that's important to kind of make sure it is there. This third bullet point, and this one's a good one. So they said they've increased their HBM market TAM, which is total addressable market, like how big could this thing get, estimate to now exceed 30 billion in 2025. Let me just read it. As we have said before, our HBM is sold out for calendar 2025 with pricing already determined for this time frame. In fiscal 2025, we expect to generate multiple billions of dollars of HBM revenue. So this is crazy because in 2024, their HBM revenue, right, their segment just for HBM, right, not their core business, HBM was 700 million. And now they're telling us in black and white, if you are not lazy and go into their earnings, they're saying, hey, we're going to go from, this segment is going to go from 700 million per year to multiple billions in 2025, like not like 5 years down the road, like now, this year. They expect multiple billions of dollars just from HBM revenue, right? So then you got to think, okay, well, what's it going to be 2 years from now, 3 years from now, right? If this AI data center boom continues, which I don't think it's slowing down, we have it in black and white. Like we have the catalyst here, but I don't think the market's really paying attention to it yet. All this was made available to my 444 Capital Club members, before it was uploaded on YouTube. So we got in already, we are positioned, and we're kind of just waiting and seeing how the next couple of years play out. So I have a whole research vault of a lot of ideas like this one, and you get access to all that. If you want to try us out for a month, don't like it after, no hard feelings, but I got a feeling that you will. We also have a kick-ass community with hundreds of members, and all we do is nerd out about the market. All right, next slide. And this will be the last slide from their earnings that I thought was, super interesting. So Micron achieved record revenue in fiscal Q1. Data center revenue grew over 400% year over year, 400%, which is insane, and 40% sequentially, reaching a record level. And their data center revenue segment surpassed 50% of Micron's entire revenue for the first time ever. Now, again, you have it in black and white. They're telling you data centers are going crazy, AI is going crazy, and these HBM chips are a segment mixed in both of those that is going crazy, and we have exposure to all of that, right? So they're telling us, like, they're basically laying it out like our business is going to be the shit the next 5 years. HBM shipments ahead of plan. In 2028, we expect HBM, this is a big one. They expect HBM total addressable market to grow 4 times from the 16 billion level in 2024 and to exceed 100 billion by 2030, right? So they're revising their estimates saying, wait, we just saw the craziest demand for HBM. We're actually going to revise our estimates up. This is going to be a $100 billion market by 2030. So let's take the 22% market share of HBM that they have today, and let's say they don't grow that at all, right? Which is not going to happen. They're definitely going to chip away at the market share and, gain, I don't know how many percentage points, but they'll definitely grow that. But let's say it sticks at 22. 22% of 16 billion, right, is what, like $3 billion? The same 22% from 100 billion is $22 billion. So then imagine if they grow their market share to like 30 or 35%. We're talking like close to 30 billion or like $25 billion in revenue just from this one segment of their business in like 4 years or so. Thinking long term, right now for reference, I'm almost certain, I think their annual revenue is 25 billion. In 2030, they should, with these estimates, get 25 billion in revenue just from the HBM segment, which is basically not even included in here. So even if their core business doesn't grow at all, doesn't move, which it will, and I'll tell you why in a second, they're going to double the revenue by 2030 alone. But that's not it. So here's why I think the stock is in like the right place, right time. Because look at this price chart, right? It looks kind of cyclical. Well, that's because from the research I did and all the learning about the memory industry that I did, the memory sector is cyclical. Why? Because when Apple has the refresh of the MacBooks or the iPhone in the fall, that starts a whole production wave where a lot of memory chips are needed. And it's not just Apple, right? Samsung, everybody does refreshes of their products. But then a lot of chips are made and there's always a surplus. So then the revenue cools down because the orders kind of chill out because, the products are already out. And there's like a cyclical kind of pattern where memory chips go from very high demand to a cooled off demand, right? And you can kind of see that in Micron's price chart going back like the last 10 years. So right now it looks like, and also from their earnings, just reading their earnings about their core business, they are in a cool down period. So the chart is telling me that the slingshot is like this for their price action, but then you add HBM memory that is taking off unexpectedly. And now the slingshot is like this, it's pulled back a lot, right? So that's why I really like putting all these pieces together. I was like, damn, Micron might be like a really good play to get exposure to literally all this AI digital data center boom stuff going on. And their like core business that is, memory chips and smart TVs, smartphones, laptops, desktops, that's also expected to start going back up, as I said in the earnings in the fall, right? Or the second half of 2025. So we just have all these catalysts that are gonna, I feel like the next earnings or two earnings from now, it's gonna start reflecting that. And the market's gonna say, damn, okay, the price of earnings is getting really good. So they're gonna start bidding the stock up, market gets excited, and they're gonna start pricing in the growth of the whole HBM market. Hopefully that made sense. I know that was a lot, but I still have a couple of things to mention. So I don't know if you watched you probably didn't, right? It's kind of nerdy thing to do, but I watched it just because I was specifically looking for a mention of Micron. Nvidia CEO Jensen was on stage at the CES. He had his whole keynote and he kind of announced the Blackwell GPU, and the only company he name dropped in that like announcement really was Micron. So not only I found out during that keynote, not only is Micron going to have memory chips inside the Blackwell GPU, they're also going to have them inside of Nvidia's Project Digits, which is like a personal supercomputer they're going to sell for like $3,000. I think supercomputer is an overstatement, but it's really, really powerful. I'm not sure, but I just know Micron HBM is going to be in both of these things. So again, beta to Nvidia. Nvidia success means Micron success, and Micron has more upside in like notional terms because it's a $100 billion market cap company compared to like a $3-4 trillion market cap company. So we have this like booming field or booming sector that's like a niche called HBM. And yeah, I don't need to repeat myself, but I think we're in a really good spot. So this is a headline that I really got me excited because, and I don't know if this source is true, right? So take it with a grain of salt, but it reads, supply chain signals indicate Blackwell sales, Blackwell being Nvidia's new product, new GPU, Blackwell sales will likely far exceed Nvidia's GPU sales from 2023 and 2024 combined. Now, is this in regards to 2025? Like, is 2025 for Nvidia going to be as big or bigger than the last 2 years combined? If so, like, insane, and I understand why HBM is sold out, but I think it's a sign that AI kind of scaling wars are continuing and getting super heated. And if you need any like reassurance for that, watch my data center gold rush video, my last video, and you'll see exactly why. Okay, last slide I want to cover, the Micron bull case part 3. So let me just go read through my bullet points, and then I'll explain what this graph is because it's actually really bullish for Micron. So Micron is poised to steal market share from a lagging Samsung, right? Samsung's low-key dropping the ball lately. Micron is positioned to expand their other memory products and their core business as well. Like this is what they do. They do memory and storage. So it's not like they're experimenting into a new segment. Like this is just adding on top of their vertical. Micron is positioned to expand data center revenue as a whole. HBM is the accidental segment that will net them billions of dollars from a few hundred million before the AI hype. And then finally, the PC refresh is in the fall, and that boosts Micron's consumer-facing business as well. It's like a domino effect. The stars are lined up. It just seems like a really good play, personally, for the next like 2 to 5 years. And let's look at this chart on the right. It basically forecasts the split of market share between the top 3 players. SK Hynix being the leader in red, Samsung being salmon, like flesh color, and then Micron being the gray. So what do you notice about Micron's market share over the next like 2 years? It is more than doubling each time. So like I said, I don't think they're going to keep 22% market share. It's probably going to grow in the next year, 2, 3. If that's the case, then the revenue estimates are definitely in the billions, and it's just super bullish moving forward in general. That was basically my bull case for Micron, kind of in a nutshell. Again, there are just sort of like sum things up. They are in the downswing of their cyclical memory business, right? Which is like laptops, smart TVs, iPhones, right? Memory chips for those. And then HBM is kind of like pulling the slingshot back even more. And we can see here in like their revenue, right? It's starting to pick up a lot. And if this truly is, now this is like speculative, of course, right? As like the markets are, if this truly is, if we're catching the downswing of Micron's, like the memory's downswing as it's going up, and HBM is kind of the unexpected fuel in the fire, then this could be like, as far as expectations go, not financial advice, NFA, but the next like two to 3 years could be like a 300% opportunity as far as like ROI, right? Right now it's at $100 billion market cap. And you never know, right? We saw how so many AI-based, like the anything with semiconductor in their name, just went crazy the last literally like 16 months, right? The valuations were insane. So I'm thinking logically that it makes sense for it to go up 3 or 4x in the next couple of years. But if when the market gets excited about something, whether it's HBM, whether it's semiconductors, they'll push that up like way past estimates just because the excitement is there. The earnings don't matter at that point. When the market gets excited about something, it could just fly. So you never know. But for me personally, I've started accumulating last week. I put in $10,000 into Micron. I like it under $100. I think under $100 is an easy accumulation area. And as far as like call options go, I'm not ruling that out either. I just want exposure to this HBM boom. So I thought I would share my bull case and my take on Micron. If you enjoyed my research and my perspective, all this was made available to my 444 Capital Club members. So I have a whole research vault of a lot of ideas like this one, and you get access to all that. If you want to try us out for a month, don't like it after, no hard feelings, but I got a feeling that you will. We also have a kick-ass community with hundreds of members, and all we do is nerd out about the market. So hope to see you in there. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.